wolf killer, my little wolf killer. Bonjour, bonjour mes amis. Bienvenue dans cette nouvelle La Vampire Lestat After Dark. Merci de au revoir, regardez. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of Vampire Lestat After Dark. Before we get right into this, and before I even get into comments, speaking of comments, I recently watched episode 4, The Devil's Road, and somebody did comment and tag. So I don't know if they forgot to include it, or if they just, because I look right now, Devil's Road is still the same length it was before, so I don't know if they're gonna like add it in post, but they forgot to add in the behind the scenes. Sorry. The behind the scenes for after the episode. So, if I may be so bold as to go over here to episode 4, and then there was a link somebody shared. There we go. The behind the scenes. So they did put this on YouTube. The only thing is that I have to turn graphic acceleration on just to like get to see this. Backstage pass, new episodes on Sunday. 7 minutes of behind the scenes. All right, backstage pass. 7 minutes.
We can go wherever we want.
We can be whoever we want.
The Devil's Road is a term taken from The Vampire Lestat, the book by Anne Rice, to describe when vampires wander.
They have coffins strapped to the top of the carriage, and I think it's a really, really happy time for them.
They will ask questions and we will risk exposure.
We'll have to kill them.
Devil's Road is an analogy, obviously, but I think Lestat and Gabriella wanted to find something different, and they wanted to explore what their relationship was going to be now that they were
Very curious, by the way. Because I looked it up, and there's literally places it can't be a coincidence. There's places in the U.S. or areas or paths that are considered the Devil's Road, but for the sake of the episode, it's more of a metaphor borrowed directly from Anne Rice. I never realized that.
They were both vampires.
Not a marquisa. Not a wife. Not a mother.
What then?
I'm a fever that comes in the night.
There's some weird stuff that happened in the past when we were human beings.
Weird stuff.
Lestat's still trying to work out.
We were mother and son.
And
Were past
He's
tense.
thinking back to the Devil's Road as it was in the past and when he was last abandoned by her, because in the present day, he's trying so hard to overcome the possibility in his mind that his mother has abandoned him again.
Also, very interesting. I'd be very curious if anybody knows. Like, so his phone background seems to be sheet music, but if anybody knows what piece of music it is, I'd be very interested to know what he holds most dear, at least in this current point in his life.
Together. As dark monarchs.
I think he's living at his most bratty.
Do you want me to play dumb like your maker and pretend you're 2 steps ahead of me?
Daniel's got all these cool glasses, though. Envious in that sense. I mean, to be fair, all the vamps in this show seem to always, like, once the eyes are sensitive, they're trying, I guess, like, obscure the color of their purples, they always find some cool pair of shades. I like Louis' red ones back in season 1, but also we saw Lestat had some purple ones when he went to go, like, back to his family home to turn his mother, and then we see Daniel with the kind of the more modern, elusive rider ones.
On the Devil's Road, these liminal spaces have no name.
But when it goes down to the old brick and bacon is worrisome.
For the occupants are not aware they need rest or service.
Our fans love Delaney and love the character
for
she
sure.
played of Claudia.
What can I get you? Hi, what can I get you? Menu? Coffee?
To see Louis as a stranger, it was so weird to do because obviously I'm still in love with Claudia. It was like I had to play it in a way where I'm just meeting this guy that's come in the shop for coffee.
What do you know about East?
I got a place in Marylebone.
Oh, exactly. Posh boy.
Posh
Get Hackney
boy.
off the tube map, did you?
It was really fun to see Delaney playing a different character. Like, she's literally a different person. And she's wonderful.
It's like she's an actor or something.
because of course she is. It's Delaney Hales.
Playing Claudia with Jacob is something that I hold so dearly because I had some of the best moments filming with him. You're a riddle, Thomas Pitt.
He confesses that she's got a couple little differences, walks a little different, but he becomes obsessed with her.
Nice to have Mark Johnson behind the scenes again. I don't know if this is recency bias or if I'm just misremembering, but I feel like he hasn't been as present in a lot of these backstage pass sequences this season.
And wants to basically be the father he never had a chance to be with Claudia.
I got a mixed set of holdings.
And I got a mixed set of punters, but you're the only one watching me like I'm Netflix.
With Louis de Pointe-du-Lac, it's never one thing. You notice, Bo? It's always very complicated.
Seen it, I think.
He wants to be around this person and like there's comfort that he gets from it. But on the other hand, I think he probably wants to be sick in his mouth all the time and feels like extremely creepy about it.
Yeah, he realizes exactly what he's doing, and then, you know, but then he wants to keep engaging with it. I feel like we've all been there. There's some things that I do even to this day where I know that I shouldn't be doing them. And I'm like, it's probably best if I don't engage in this, like for the sake of my own mental sanity. And then I'll do it anyway at the behest of like, because I'm just like, but I like to do that, or you know, but I've done that in the past, or I'm used to doing that, and then I'll do it, and I'm just like, afterwards you just feel like, ugh, like come on, man, like you're better than that.
And knows that there's something very sinister and manipulative about the whole thing. There's a girl in it.
They're such uncomfortable, weird scenes, but when I read them, I just felt really sad for Louis. What's this then?
I can pay off your debts and get you the part.
But put on a yellow dress and sit in your lap. This is like a whole new low for him.
No, none of that.
All of that. Here's the money, get in my Escalade, be my dead daughter. So yeah, playing Regina was something new, and their relationship's kind of a weird one.
Immediately after, they're like, I can't be mad at you.
What did I say?
But it was fun to play.
I'm really glad that Hannah and Rollin came up.
Looking very much forward to the Vampire Lestat, the blooper reel for this season.
With this creative, interesting, strange way to bring her back.
What now, Daddy Lou?
Oh, what now, Daddy Lou? Like, wow. Zoink. Oh.
Hello, Daniel.
Played this music for the reunion.
Going through quite a journey in the show, and he appears now where he's got no sympathy from just about every character, and certainly not from us, the audience.
I know when we first met.
Wait, stop.
What, Daniel? I have sympathy for him. What are you talking about? I think he's done some bad things in his life, but I don't think he's a deplorable monster. Like,
Stop. I've done this myself once. Let me try. I'm just a 500-year-old pussy.
Armand always has a sliver of sincerity in his actions.
Stop.
How? But you see what? A sliver of sincerity. I mean, that's. I mean, okay, sure, that's nice and all, but you realize when you weigh that with everything else behind, like the intention, like the other intentions and emotions, etc., to say there's a sliver of sincerity doesn't really like bring you back into like redemption of the spotlight. Oh, a small teensy weensy itty bitty teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini part of Armand always feels, you know, there's something well meaning in there. It's like, okay, I mean, you could say the same about like a serial killer. You can see there's a killer who part of him is like, man, I want my victim. Like, you find a killer that, like, you know, there's some like ones that they take a certain amount of care with the body afterwards. Like they put the head on a pillow, or they try to like clean their hands or their nails, or present the body in such a way where it's nicely displayed afterwards, post mortem. And, you know, it could be because like, oh, you know, I want to, like, I still respect my victim. But you could say there's a sliver of sincerity in that. But guess what? There's still a serial killer who's been murdering people multiple times. And then it's a bit of a reach for a comparison. But you see what I'm saying is like, yeah, I think you could find very bad, deplorable people out there and then say, oh, but there's a sliver of sincerity behind the intent. And that does not really make any of it better. Like,
he does want to make amends with Daniel.
does he really?
What? You know what?
But as we've learned with Armand through season 1 and 2, he always has.
Why are you here?
Another underlying objective. And
Yes,
Daniel's
yes.
a part of it. You are courting great danger with Lestat.
Yeah, he's just an asshole.
There are nearly enough of us now.
Daniel to Armand is kind of like, you know, when a little kid has a stuffed animal that he drags around with him his whole life until finally the stuffing has come out and one eye is popped off and he's all tattered and dirty. But the little kid still sees this little stuffed animal as something that he loves, even as he's beating it to death.
It wasn't my love for Louis.
Armand feels as if Daniel is like a stuffed animal that he's just carried around, tattered and beaten, and it's this beat up, run through, raggedy little thing, but he still loves it. So perhaps it's love not in a romantic way, but love in just a genuine sense of like, I do have love for this person. But that is something I have to really marinate on and try to get into it. Is it because there's like, I don't know, we had discussions about it in the past. I don't want to get too bogged down just watching the backstage pass section of it, but like, I don't know. We've talked about it and I've speculated that there's a certain degree of like, you know, because the whole thing at first was seemingly jealousy, which was that, oh, you've killed all these boy toys you've brought back to our San Francisco, our San Fran kill pad. And yet this is the one that was fascinating enough for you to keep alive. So there's a certain amount of intrigue in that, oh, well, Louis, you know, the person I love currently finds you fascinating enough to not dispose of immediately. And then also and then gets inside of his head and maybe he also becomes fascinated with, I mean, because he keeps saying, is that what makes you fascinating? And like, there's still anger more at Louis than Daniel, and he takes it out on Daniel, I think, through a lot of that, horrific apartment sequence. But I wonder if part of me is like, oh, maybe during that time of getting in his head and opening him up and getting this man at his most vulnerable and going through like the type of person that he is, maybe some degree, like some element, some degree of him perhaps does like find reverence or fondness for him. I think more so in the Dubai penthouse is where Armand would, like, I mean, as they're going tit for tat and Daniel's putting up a fight against him. I mean, whether you call it the actor trying not to laugh or the character bemused, we often see Armand just being like, this fucking guy. This is just like, he can't even help but smile at like, oh, this smarmy asshole. Or it's like, all right there. All right, bitch. Good one. Good one. Like, I'm just trying to find or even like ultimately being best. But then, if we go off that, because now even in the backstage pass, we're leaning heavily into this idea where Armand, in one way or another, loves Daniel. Why? How? I can't quite piece together yet. But if that's what we're saying about Dubai, because then, you know, Lestat puts the idea in Daniel's mind, and then Daniel starts thinking, you knew what was going on the whole time, didn't you? Why'd you all let it come to pass? And Armand is like, no, I wasn't thinking straight. It was love, not for Louis, and maybe not even for Lestat, but like, so he wasn't thinking straight in the Dubai penthouse because he had he had a love for Daniel. So what, he didn't let himself pry into his mind? He couldn't emotionally see past it to pry into his mind? He let everything collapse once more, as we've seen Armand willingly lose his power time and time again as he sinks back into that mentally like subservient role, whether he wants to or not, because that trauma is ingrained within in his mind. Like, I don't know. I'm struggling to kind of, I'm sure it'll all come to fruition, but I'm struggling to put together. I'm like a detective trying to solve a case right now. I'm the hardboiled detective. I got my whiskey in one hand. I'm looking at the cork board with all the intersecting lines and the theories and all this. I have all the pieces in front of me so far, and I'm just trying to piece together like I see what's happened, and I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen, and I see the history of what's happened, and I'm like, I have all the pieces of the puzzle in front of me, and I can't for the life of me crack this case. I'm like trying to piece together these final little strings up here. I'm just like, the whiskey, I'm just like, God damn it. And just like I'm trying my damnedest to figure out like where's the connection here? Like what's the final piece of the mystery that'll have it all come together so I can figure out cause and effect.
Daniel, but it was love.
And I think that's the way Armand feels toward Daniel. He loves him in his own special way.
Own special way. Interesting. On the Champs-Élysées.
Lestat's all about freedom, no rules, be who you are, and Armand is all about rules.
You got a lot of rules for a theater kid. It gets so hard.
I mean, as a diss track, why do you get to be the boss? Like, why do you get to choose the rules? Why do you get to decide who dies and who stays alive? And for me, like, Big Boss was really always about Lestat not ever having full closure with Armand about what happened in Paris and what happened in the theater. That obviously leads to him stepping outside the comfort zones of what vampires should do, which is hide in the shadows and follow all these great laws, and somebody seeing him and believing that he
Oh, and now there's repercussions for it all.
is an actual vampire in the character of Bo Ridley, and
I suppose what
shooting him
happened.
and saying, look, they are real.
He can't die like this, he's a vampire!
And so, yeah, Lestat did fly a little close to the sun.
And that's what he's considering in that moment. All right, fair enough, fair enough. I got a lot to think about. Patreon comments first, of course, regarding After Dark Episode 3. Dr. Bailey says, Autumn Brown's interviews are amazing. So that's what everybody's been saying so far. I was really hoping you'd react to Sam and Jacob reading thirst tweets. I feel the same after the trauma of Episode 3. We need... I definitely will be reacting to the thirst tweets video. When? Probably... I'll probably just record it shortly after this, quite frankly. Sam says Autumn Brown interviews are usually long interviews with one or two members of the cast, and they're always amazing. If you're only planning to watch one of them, I'd say wait till the end of the season since she's releasing an interview per episode, and you can choose whose interview you want to watch. Funny enough, if you want to know how to pronounce Azad, there's a clip floating around of him explaining how to pronounce it in his interview with Autumn Brown from last season. But also, he said you pronounced it last episode. He said how you pronounced it last episode doesn't bother him. Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, by the way. On the so because I even pointed it out in this episode because the interviewer says it one way. I've heard fucking Delaney Hale Harris Hale. I've heard Delaney say it one way, and then I was like, well, what about this? And people are like, well, they're wrong. I'm like, they work together. They're castmates. They're friends. How are they gonna pronounce it incorrectly? So it's not Assad. It's supposed to be Assad. Assad, like Assad. Like more like an A instead of Oz, it's like as Assad, evidently. So found it. I hope I'm allowed to post this, but it's at 18:55 at the outtakes video. 18:55 at the outtakes video.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Will you pronounce your name for me? Because I've heard it pronounced different ways, and I just want to make sure I'm getting it right.
Oh, I find it is a bit of a mindfuck for me too.
All right, well, there you go.
So, because I know that Americans like to pronounce it Assad, and
yes,
I kind of like it. So I'm guessing that's how you're pronouncing it.
This angel admits it. No, he said he kind of likes it,
and it works. My mom, everyone I know here pronounces it Assad.
Assad. Well, if your mom calls you, you know what? This is a classic case of the star of the current Dune franchise, right? What is it? Old Marty Supreme. What does everybody in the States, what does everybody around the world call him? What do they say? They say Timothy Chalamet is what they say. Most people, arguably and objectively, most people will say his name is Timothy Chalamet. What actually is it that I found in an interview he did with like in recent, like not in like 5+ years ago or something? It's Timothée. His name is actually Timothée Chalamet. Like maybe not Chalamet, but it's Timothée is how you actually say his name. But everybody says Timothy, so he just goes along with it. Where it's like, oh yo, Timothy Chalamet, and it's like, no, Timothée Chalamet. Like that's how it is. And so I've always said Timothée now because that's how. If I'm gonna respect that bozo's name, maybe not bozo, but I'm gonna respect his name, I should respect Assad.
So
Assad.
I don't know. The only
Assad.
way I can describe sort of
Assad.
comparison is Hassan Minhaj. A lot of people say Hassan, but
Oh yeah, it's not Hassan. It's no Hassan. Like yeah,
it's Hassan.
Hassan Minhaj, and everybody always says Hassan Minhaj. Americans do like to say the don't they? It's not Hassan, it's Hassan.
That's how he pronounces his name. It's Hassan Minhaj. A lot of people say
Assad.
Assad. I don't know. The only way I
Assad.
can describe
Assad. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Straight from the horse's mouth. You can't really go wrong there. Assad. Also, the After Dark host pronounces it wrong too. LOL. Roland, Jacob, and Sam say it correctly, so you can use them for reference. I think I've heard Delaney say his name though before. Assad. Okay. Cool. Everybody coming in. Assad. Like this. Oh, like this scream. So his name is Assad. Is that what you're saying? Did that come up on the microphone? Hang on a second. Let me try that again. Assad. All right, cool. No, I'm sorry. I did it wrong again. Let me try one more time. Assad. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I knew. So his actual name is Assad. All right, just want to make sure. But then sad rhymes with odd. Wait, no, Assad. No, but Assad. But they just said Assad. Wait, I thought. Hang on. Assad. So it's not Assad. No. Assad. Why am I already struggling again? I just fucking watched the video. What are you talking about?
Will you pronounce your name for me? Because
it is a bit of a pronounce it Assad, and I kind of like it. So I'm guessing that it pronounces it Assad. So
Assad. So it's still the odd, but it's Assad, not Assad, or is
my mom? Everyone.
Why am I struggling with this so much?
I know here pronounces it Assad. So
Assad. All right. Assad. Sure. Assad. All right. Basically, how you've been saying it, but just emphasize the first syllable. So it's like Rashid. I always like to say Rashid instead of Assad. It's Assad. Okay. Sure. Hush Firefly says, I'm glad you appreciated Jacob's sweater. He always has the maddest fits, just a great sense of style. I wish I could be as chill and mellow as Daniel Hart. I'm a fast talker and can get quite animated. Couldn't relate. Me? Couldn't possibly relate. So I envy people who can take their time with their words. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I thought it was a cool touch that when we get the previously on the Vampire Lestat, it is narrated by the last character that was shown in the previous episode. So Gabriella was last on screen in episode 1. Gabriella narrates the previously on for episode 2. Louis was last in episode 2. Louis narrates the previously on episode 3. Now we have Armand last for episode 3, so reading this now, Armand should have narrated it previously on episode 4. Anyone else think it's wild that the interview with Louis took 11 days while Daniel's been trying to crack Lestat for 2 months? Roland is really making episode 7 seem extremely obvious. In many interviews, he always adds that we are not ready for episode 7 while looking extremely gleeful. Well, it sounds like it's going to be Akasha, right? Like, we're seeing the Vampire Lestat Rockstar Tour, also knowing in the future that Armand has like one eye missing, Louis has a leg missing, the Y chromosome is almost destroyed, and there's a whole music box full of like dozens and dozens, if not like 100 plus vinyl recordings of Lestat giving his story, basically, like for the past, in terms of what happened in his childhood, to the tour, to his whole experience. So something tells me that like it's going to be, people have been speculating it's going to be a multi-season ordeal. So I'm sure we'll have a big like bum, Akasha is awake in the end of this season. And then we'll have the other, like, I feel like each book is going to be about 2 seasons. And then we'll have the rest of what happens in about 2 years or so, if we're lucky, 2 years. Kira Ra says, I enjoyed this episode a lot, After Dark episode a lot more than the previous. Also, please heed this general warning if you do decide to eventually get into the books. They're rough. They're jarring and they're going crazy up there. They be fucking? No, they're just like walking. They're just moving furniture, I think. But you know, they could be fucking. They're jarring and uncomfortable. Well, I've had some tough reads in my life in terms of like content and materials, so I'll be sure to provide trigger warnings as well. But I'm sure I'll make it through. But I do plan to read them. God only knows what was going through Anne Rice's mind while writing some of this stuff. There's some disturbing topics, and I think you'll find them confronting. I think you'll find them confronting in the way they're handled, especially since I'm assuming it would be your first venture into Gothic literature. Would it? Looking at my shelf, have I read Gothic literature before? I've definitely read some books where some really, this is not Gothic literature, but I've read material from Haruki Murakami, Stephen King. Looking at my shelf right now. I don't know, I've read some stories that have some really... I don't have time to look right now. But I've read some fucked up stories in my time. So, I mean, like, you know, Oedipus Rex. But, I mean, yeah, we'll see. In my opinion, the show does a masterful job of recontextualizing and expanding the original material. A lot of stuff from the first book is reworked, added, or removed for the best. In the show, they're often mixing in multiple books at once. Lestat's characterization in particular is informed by like 10 plus books worth of material at once. And what Jacob and the writers have done with Louis's character in the show is nothing short of miraculous in my opinion. I didn't really care for him when I read the books, but I got so attached to Louis in the show that he easily became my favorite character. Yeah, casting and character portrayal has done a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of how can we make any of these deplorable characters, these dark Gothic characters, sympathetic or maybe even empathetic individuals. Shayna says they are not implying Nicky is around for longer in the books. He still goes mad, loses his hand, and goes into the fire, not long into being a vampire, but it's related to Armand. They've just changed some of the surrounding details, but I also think there's potentially a change that we'll find out. It didn't go down exactly as described in episode 3. We shall see. Hope that's spoiler-free in the way you wanted. That's fair enough. Sam, with respect to the trial, what you recall Lestat saying about Nicky's unaliving is with a little help from others. That's what it was. So he said with a little help from others and looks directly at Armand. So I appreciate the clarification there. Yella says, as for why opinions on the season are so divided, this is basically an addendum to my perfection comment regarding the Toronto episode. I wish film scholars and psychologists would study this more. I think there's a group of people who feel compelled to trash everything no matter what is done or how it's done. Then there are those fixated on various isms. Especially with season 3, certain factions keep claiming that Assad, Delaney, and Jacob are being sidelined. Then there are the people who hate Lestat. Well, I'd argue rather than them being sidelined, because the shift is for Lestat and they're still involved. Honestly, I'll talk about it more in episode 5 when I record that, but I've been thinking about it and I've been trying to remain objective, and I think one of the complaints I do have about season 3 is that I do believe there are other characters being sidelined, but they're all ancillary. Like, I was really hoping for more of the band, and I feel like outside of occasional scenes here or there, and especially with the implications that, like, there's implications for some reason I feel that TC was going to be a bigger character than she currently has been portrayed as, and like Alex is getting some scenes, but like the front man is getting bubkiss, more or less, aside from little asides, and then even Salamander, who might be my favorite member. I would love to love TC more, but I've gotten more entertainment from old Sally Boy. There's even been more from like Checkstat in the background than I feel like Lestat's band, but anyway, I digress. Then there are the people who hate Lestat. Then again, you have the shippers who seem stuck in their teenage years, believing that an eternal life can only be shared with one specific person. So, if a character gets together with someone outside their ship, they absolutely loathe it. And then there are the book purists who can't handle the changes. Mostly, I read things like, ugh, the theme sucks. Ugh, that's not the music he'd play. Ugh, blah, blah, blah. What they all have in common is a lack of objective analysis regarding filmmaking, the art of writing, and the adaptation process. Some people point out in the comments that certain book sequences wouldn't work on screen, and they're absolutely right. For instance, I don't get why people were happy with the changes in 1 and 2, but not in 3. Louis is a different person than he is in the book. Book Louis is actually much closer to the Louis seen in Season 2, Episode 5, than to the rest of the show, just as an example. As for Lestat in The Vampire Lestat, the book starts in the present day, which for the book was the 1980s, but the show is set in 2026 or 2025 within the narrative timeline. You can't just throw in 80s references. The number of viewers who would actually get them is tiny, and I hope I don't offend anyone by saying that the lyrics written by AR were shit. She was a brilliant author, but song lyrics, no. The reason I consider Interview and The Vampire Lestat to be perfection is that even though they can't convey 500 or 600 pages of detail, they still capture 100% of the essence of the books, the writing style, and the characters, while adding even more layers. Take Lestat, for example. There are major changes to the story, yet they wrote and executed him in such a way that everything the Vampire Lestat version of Lestat does, says, and how he behaves aligns perfectly with how the book version of Lestat would act. I recognize him completely. Furthermore, the way they take elements from the books and place them elsewhere is brilliant. Take the scene where Lestat talks about Nikki's death, the one with the "oh." In the book, the context is different, though it still involves Nikki. I struggle with that part of the book. It hits me hard and I always find it difficult. It's very uncomfortable for me. But in the series, god damn, that completely unmoored me, and it still does. It also gives me a new perspective on that scene in the book and on the first 2 seasons. It even confirms some things I had suspected. That, combined with so many other factors, is what makes it perfect for me. I can go on for pages raving about the technical aspects, the writing, production design, music. By the way, the track playing when Lestat and Nikki sit in the tavern is For a Young Violinist 3.0, costumes, and so on. After all, it's my industry, but nobody wants to hear that. As the saying goes, feels are everything. I think that people who badmouth it simply don't agree with it or don't want to, because from a purely technical standpoint, it's not a matter of taste. It is top-notch quality in every single aspect. Oh, don't read it out loud. Okay. Oh shit. Wait. Don't read what out loud? Don't read what out loud? Oh, the comment below. Okay, I won't look into that then. That's fair enough. Hypocritic says AMC coined the Immortal Universe moniker, I believe, to incorporate a couple of Anne's series under one umbrella. However, the vampire book series she wrote is affectionately referred to as the Vampire Chronicles. This would help you in your book search. I go to a local bookshop that does book exchanges and sells pre-owned books and does trades as well. Great shop, affordable. When I was last there, I found maybe half of the 13 books in the primary Chronicles. There are also 2 books in the new Tales of the Vampire as well, so technically the Vampire Chronicles has 15 in the total main series. Then the Mayfair Witches series has some crossover as well. If you care to know their names and order releases. Okay, I see. I always forget 76. Interesting. Oliver says, POV from my dreams. Yep, I love him so much. Whenever someone says, fuck Armand, I say, don't mind if I do. Tony says, that question to Jacob about him being jealous of not having a song felt so weird and low-key disrespectful. Maybe they were just teasing him. Also, the interviewer always refers to Jacob as you or even Louis and almost never addresses him by name. Are we getting into conspiracy territory? Or I'll look into this in episode 4. I'll see if that comes up some more. Curiouser and curiouser. Yella says, I'd also like to point out that here in Germany, guten Tag, except in good hotels, air conditioning is not the norm. Well, that's how it is in the UK too, right? Is how people, there's no central air. Like, it's just like, oh, open a window, isn't it? Like, on Sunday, we're hitting 104 Fahrenheit and we don't have AC. Plus, it's an old building with poor insulation. So have fun if you ever take a summer vacation in Germany. P.S. I love that you say Regina in the German. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm just so used to it now. Ever since the dark has stayed with me in my mind and my mind palace, because I think of like Regina and Ulrich and then Jonas, all these names with the German phonetics. I still, just because I finished that show doesn't mean my fascination with the German phonetics and vernacular has died. I must attend Unschule to learn more, basically. Every now and then I had the vocal stem of Ich bin du. Like, Maggie says, I love more trivia games. I'm feeling quite nostalgic for Roland's front board chair. Honestly, though, it feels like a distant memory, but that's crazy work, isn't it? Just be like, yes, a vile hunger for your hammering heart as he sips goddamn lemonade on the front porch where it's like those days of him, it was the most casual. It almost has the mentality of like, no fucking way we're getting more than one season, so I'm just gonna tell it like it is anyway. What a crazy episode that was, huh? Anyway, yeah, like everybody loves Louis. That's how it is and all this. I think every episode should end with 30 minutes of Roland repeatedly saying a vile hunger for your hammering heart. And at the end of the day, it's everybody loves Louis. I might start leaving my episode comments here. It might help even out in the engagement. Oh, for sure, for sure. This was my favorite episode of the season by miles. Your biggest fan has been in my head all... Oh, dude, I've been listening to it in the car where it's like... I got a bottle of wine. Gonna have such a goddamn good time. Don't let me get you crying. I can't sing. Don't tell me the spell is breaking. I can't do it. But like you bet your ass I've been belting it in the car for sure. Man, I never expected to be this excited to see Armando again. In my opinion, he's definitely not there for AA, and he wouldn't go all the way to Ohio for that. 3 hours this week felt like such a gift. Oh, thanks. If it helps while I work, I regularly watch another YouTuber complete 5-hour reactions for 20-minute episodes of Hell of a Boss. I enjoy Hell of a Boss to an extent, but I'm much more of a has-been fan, but I can acknowledge the faults in both shows. But 5-hour breakdowns for 20-minute episodes of Hell of a Boss, that is pretty crazy. But I've done the same for shows too. I agree with prior comments. React to Autumn Brown after season 2. Thanks for all that you do, MovieMan. Lee says, oh, Lee Pace mentioned, Foundation's pretty solid, but it was slow till the second season for me. Follow the books pretty closely according to my dad. I never read it. Apple TV, so it's at least pretty gorgeous to look at. But if you appreciate Lee Pace, I absolutely have to recommend Halt and Catch Fire for your future watch list. Incredible writing, incredible acting, shot beautifully, and it's an 80s period piece workplace drama about the nascent tech scene. Really unique and criminally underrated. I don't know if it would be a big YouTube driver for that reason, but it would be a perfect Patreon exclusive. Maybe after the newsreader, to continue the 80s workplace drama with unwell bisexual themes. I think you'll dig it. Lee Pace acts his ass off. Lee Pace is great. I choose death. Thinking more of Thrag right now, but Lee Pace is great. Yeah, if anybody else agrees with Halt and Catch Fire, drop your opinions in the chat. And before we hop directly in, I'll go over to the YouTube comments as well. More correction on the name. Shadow of the Wolf says, Lestat courted Louis for actually 6 months or so before the turning, as confirmed by the writers. Louis also mentioned in the show something about Lestat being there for him in the winter, and when Paul died, it was like spring or summer. Nikki doesn't stay longer in the books, just what and how it happens is different. Armand is still involved, and he ends up with no hands, that's the same. He was introduced earlier, though, while still in the village. Him and Lestat actually went off to Paris together, which has changed. MX Confused says, the Claudia and Lestat parallels kind of start with Gabby in my opinion. Gabby, forced marriage and marital rape results in Lestat's birth or an unwanted child into an abusive home and is also the psychological reason for Gabby's own abuse towards him. Lestat, forced, turning and raped by Magnus, screws him up and starts another chain of traumatic events for him. Louis eventually also gets him to turn Claudia despite him not wanting to, which brings her into an abusive home, including Lestat's abuse toward her, which is informed by his own trauma. Claudia turned without consent, though not really forced, and then raped by Bruce. She, I would say, ultimately breaks the cycle of abuse for the most part with Madeline and being killed before she even has kids of her own, though I think she would have done right by them. It's the generational cycles of sexual abuse and being forced to live that other people designed for you, or forced to lives other people designed for you. And this season is interesting because it isn't just an origin story, it is a continuation. Season 1 Nola era was the middle of Lestat's story. We get to see not just why Lestat is the way he is, but the fallout of it and how he's processing, moving on, and changing from it, or changed. Plus, they're immortal. They have eternity to grow and change. Also, all these characters parallel All of these characters parallel other characters as well and are their own unique person. However, I do think there is a particular thread to follow that specifically covers generational abuse and the tragedy of your children being condemned to the same fate and traumas that you faced. While I have my own reservations with this about how they're handling this season, I really don't want to judge it until it's over. And some of these comments have taught me that I think some people are having a very shallow, bad faith engagement with the show, taking the script at face value and not actually trying to engage with some of these visual storytelling aspects this season is trying to utilize. Because I think the season hits engaging with surrealism and perspective in a way, excuse me, that might be going over some people's head because it isn't super straightforward. I can see that. I did make a small mistake. Raleigh Ritchie is Jacob's name as a professional musician and songwriter, not a DJ. I don't know why I had DJ in my head, but appreciate the clarification there, Pamela. Kay says if you watch Autumn Brown's interview with Asad, he pronounces his name for her near the beginning. Lady of Hearts 07, you explaining why this. You explain this is so funny because it's exactly what was happening with Daniel during the interview portion of the episode. It's why he was making all those faces while Lestat was being vulnerable. The vampirism was heightening Daniel's journalistic hunger and finding the truth to the point where he was losing his empathy and humanity just to get to it. What was I explaining again? 3349? Some take to it and end up just immediately... Oh, talking about how people take to being a vampire, I see. Well, there you go. I answered my own question, then, is what you're trying to say. Tom Cruise is known to send coconut cakes each year to hundreds of celebrities as a holiday gift. Thanks. Appreciate it, H-Tib. In the Red Cold says, it needs to be said that Lestat never said yes. That's why he was turned in the book. He was the one blonde that wouldn't surrender, which is why he survived, which is why he was turned. The Thirst Tweets video is hilarious. I'll watch the Thirst Tweets video. I will. I'm saying that not as an annoyance to the comments, but as an annoyance to myself. Like, I'm like, damn it, why haven't I done it yet? Emlada says, I think you're doing great. Just like with Interview with the Vampire, they're changing and shortening things, but still hitting a lot of the key elements. This is my favorite episode so far, and The Loneliness has been my favorite song since I heard the recording from his live performance in New York City. The hell am I hearing? Damn, somebody is like watching TV upstairs, but it's like somehow loud enough to make it down a whole floor. Crazy work. But it's middle of the day, so it is what it is. I know biggest fan is about Magnus, says Luvini Y, but I can also see it being about Lestat and Louis, Lestat and Claudia, Gabrielle Lestat, Lestat and Lestat. Oof. Yeah, it works. Evangeline's Music says, as you're talking about the music you liked growing up, I got to thinking about the same. I think as a baby of the 80s and child of the 90s, part of why I enjoy listening to your content and similar from other creators, or yappers I guess, might be because it's reminiscent of listening to my favorite radio personalities of 90s radio stations. I was always loyal to my favorite DJs, even the ones on MTV. Or the VJs, because I always knew that if I was listening to their shows, they'd introduce me to music I enjoyed, and their personalities always clicked with things I enjoyed too. All that to say that YouTuber content like yours is kind of reminiscent of those radio or TV stations that I always had on the background as a kid. Well, I'm glad that I can kind of serve as a time capsule of sorts. I'm a product of the 90s, more or less, so... Pushing Daisies mentioned, yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, AC got fixed. Yeah, for sure. I think like a day or two after it happened, but there were a rough few days where temperatures got pretty high. But it's relatively cool again. Granted, as of recording this today, Tennessee is under a heat advisory, and it's like a high of 95 today. But I mean, honestly, a lot of the U.S. is feeling this, and it's going to move to the East Coast. But it's one of those, like, temperature is in the 90s, but it feels like 103, 105, 105.9 The Rock. But possible spoilers up there from Archangel. But to be fair, I did ask, so. The hardest part of content creating for me, says Evangeline. I really want to produce content, but life keeps getting in the way, and I have so many other side hustles and jobs that content creating ends up on the back burner and I lose momentum. Yeah, that's part of what it is. I'm just lucky that I have so many people that are interested and that are helping, like, to watch. Like, the fact that I have people that are watching and providing views, and people that are also like providing. I mean, I'm big enough where I have just enough monetary compensation to really help to keep fueling this endeavor. So between that and the fact that this is like my passion, it's what I love and it's what I want my career to be, that's kind of what fuels me. So even if I'm tired and have a lot of like spinning plates to balance, that's kind of what gets me through. Anyway, we've been yapping a whole lot. I'm gonna hop right in. After Dark, The Devil's Road, episode 4 discussion. Currently the second shortest, but that's fine. Just some little interviews. Let's get into it. Play. Okay, that was weird. Normally they just autoplay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Immediately. Sorry, Lizzie.
Take it.
Hi, Jack.
So, was it you remembered the cadence of that?
It's so crowded. They have Delaney on the arm of the couch. It can't be that bad.
Because you listened to it immediately before recording it, or was it just so well done in the first place that it left an impression on you? Just out of interest.
It's the second. I didn't go back and watch it. It's just how I remembered you doing it. How Lestat remembered you potentially doing it.
Yeah. Can you say the line? Which line you're asking about?
Maybe you can do it, can't you? Sorry, this is
a fishing exposition.
What?
No, I mean, like,
what's the line?
I couldn't possibly ever do it as well as you did.
I don't even take it personal. I don't
know my God.
It's difficult to say how it
They're just like it's middle. I don't know. I guess I don't know if this happened beginning or middle of the interview, but it's just like, it's cute though. They're just like on their own little tangent here.
Impenetrable. His argument was.
How succinct.
Oh yeah, the line. Yeah. Doing Louis' line.
Impenetrable.
His argument was.
Okay.
Her argument.
Lord, how succinct and impenetrable
It's
his
the
argument.
Vampire Lestat After Dark. I'm Lizzie Bassett, and we have a full house for episode 4.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell. We have a full house for episode 4, so much so that we got Mark Johnson over there condemned to the Cuck Diner booth. We got Delaney over here on the arm of the couch. We spent all of our funding just to get the episode off the ground and produced and out to you fine folks, and now we don't have enough chairs to go around for the after the episode interview.
With special guest Eric Bogosian.
Hey! Which, if Eric is here, somebody was worried about me watching this one because they're gonna, Eric gives away too much. But some of the people said, they wouldn't let all this be shown if she truly gave away. I think I know what direction the show's going in, but I was gonna joke and say, shit, well, Eric's here. Well, I'm gonna know how the book ends now.
Her argument, though.
Yeah.
Her argument was. Yeah. But it's referencing what Louis said about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do feel a little bitter about that because I had a gigantic speech which I had to learn for that scene in season 1.
And you don't get to see the speech. Instead, it's the funnier, deeper line.
Gigantic, and I said to Roland,
I want to take a screenshot of that subtitle that just says "Roland laughing." I feel like that could be applied to so much other content. Also, I just realized that this table is like, that's not entirely straight, is it? Like the coffin has like a certain like an incline to it because the decanter over there is at a bit of an angle. You have to put things flat on there, otherwise you're gonna have shit rolling around, I think.
I said, hang on, what is this? This is like the first time I've really come across interstitial dialogue before. I was like, what is this? Like, what? You're gonna see, it's like, learn it, because we might use it. We might use it all.
We might use
like
it.
Extreme close-up, I had to learn. It was really complex. I can't remember, but the ideas in it were very complex sentences which took forever to learn. And then, of course, I could have just been saying, like, rhubarb, chicken wings, French fries. While he's saying...
To clarify, interstitial dialogue is text or conversation occurring outside the main action, written by Roland to torture his actors. That's just so it's the narration you would hear outside of the scene itself, interstitial dialogue. But it's written by Roland to torture his the cast and crew.
Impossible to say.
I heard it, and it helped me.
What do you remember what I said?
I don't remember what you said, but it was...
I can't remember the lines.
All right, I'm going to reel it back in because we got to get into this episode.
Okay.
We've got to get into it because there's a lot happening here. We also have a new waitress that Louis is doing something with, so we'll talk about all of that. I want to start at the end. Just when you think you're out, Gabriella pulls you back in.
Oh,
is this rock bottom for Lestat?
No.
I don't think so.
I think he was more of at a rock bottom when he was in his hotel room post Dracula's daughter, right? Like when he was in there, and hell, the stutter came back, but he had been like beaten, wounded, he had been drugged, he was like he had to run away, he had been outed, he was sick. And then, of course, at his lowest, then Mommy Dearest decides to show up. I feel like, now whether that was true rock bottom or not, I don't know. But I felt like he was closer to a mental, like at least a mental rock bottom at the end of episode 1.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
Or there could be more.
No, I mean, God. Yeah, I mean, he's been shot. I mean, it's a dampener.
A dampener.
I think it's kind of like a moment of reflection for him. Definitely, like he got shot, and other people who he cared about also got shot.
Reflection. He was just checking his nails. Made sure he was on fleek.
And he kind of reached to his high brat phase and probably burned out a little bit too much and realized he needs to step back and, I don't know, do some self-reflection, or I don't know what he plans to do really when he goes back to Montreal. But yeah, she's back. She's back.
She's
playing her
back.
agenda.
This bitch.
Yeah.
Who are the voices? What are we to make of that?
The great vampires out there?
In the world who
great
are,
conversion.
who at the beginning of the season were like, how dare this guy? And they've kind of turned over time and like, oh no, keep singing for us. You're the only one who's been speaking our vampiric truth. As this great conversion is beginning to bubble, make more of us. That is what's being fostering over there.
Yeah,
Okay, so we are
Daybreakers,
headed
like I said
towards
before.
a great conversion.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff behind the curtain.
There's also like the Brat Prince sort of harking towards how you kind of work out that way of putting in some kind of vampiric monarch. Lestat obviously has no desire to do that.
Yeah, funny how I brought up Dune earlier in terms of like the reluctant leader of a group or a rebellion of some type, and like Lestat, and then like Gabriella sees Lestat as somebody who could be that compelling intellectual what's the word I'm looking for here? Charming, I guess. Charming, charismatic leader of sorts, a godlike figure. And who knows? I don't know how Lestat would feel once he's finally in that potential position of power. But at current in the show, he's very reluctant at the idea of that, where it's like, all I do is write music, and Gabriella's like, no, you could be the voice of your people.
And I think it's kind of really fascinating that it's Gabriella, which is an echoing of his whole life, is sort of the one probably using him to as a way to, as a conduit, or to live vicariously through him.
It also feels like this is like maybe one of the first times he's very honest about how much she's hurting him when she leaves him.
Yeah.
You see a couple of times that she abandons him. What does that do to him?
Because he's so upset that he finally just is like, look, the shit that you do over here. And she's like, what? You upset now? You want the baby bottle or something? You want mommy to come make it all better?
Well, I think it's really interesting. I mean, we had this conversation earlier, like Roland, Hannah, and I, in terms of, a child's development. It's important for them to learn how to hate their parents, because you can then distinguish when you've stepped too far, and also you can see what the difference is between love and hate. And to feel shame for hating somebody. But
that's an interesting way of looking at it. It's important for a child to be at a point where they feel as if they hate their parents, because then you can eventually kind of have that new context to distinguish the two. That's a very interesting way of looking at it, because I have a very vivid memory of not the whole conversation, but one moment when I was because I was raised by a single mother. I mean, I'm literally, by definition, I'm a bastard child. Like, mom and dad had me. They were together but not married. Had me. Then Daddy-O was like, it's not gonna work out with us, and like he stuck around, like where we still talk, and like I go visit him, and he still like supports me in a few ways, but we've never been like super duper close or anything. And then mom was trying her best to like by herself. I mean, single child, luckily for her, but like raise me, teach me, kind of be there for me. But I know that there was one day where like she just wasn't budging and wasn't letting me do something I wanted to do. And I remember I was like, I believe I said, I hate you. Like in that moment, I was like, I hate you. This is terrible. And to her credit, she kept her composure. She wasn't yelling back at me that day anyway. There's some times where I just pushed her so hard that she'd be like, ah, but that particular day, she was like, I said I hate you, and she literally was like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I was like, in retrospect, I'm like, damn, like, you held your own, huh? Like, shit. But she was just like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And then I eventually calmed back down at some point. But, there was definitely a lot of at each other's throats and snipping and snarking, a lot of sarcasm. Tensions were high. And I remember the moment that I turned 18 and I was like, no, I can say whatever the fuck I want. Like, but even then I would like still sometimes reserve, like we've had our ups and downs of like how we talk to each other, um but yeah, there were definitely some like turbulent times back in my youth for sure. But I was also, she made the right decision of raising a kid who asked questions. Like I was raised to like question everything, and to like try to learn on my own and form my own opinions, but also like the good elements of like art and life and compassion. But then it kind of backfired on her, because she claims to be a woman of science and God, which I find to be a bit of an oxymoron, but that's just my own personal bias kicking in. But I remember she raised me to ask questions, and then when I, as a child, began my deconstruction period, and I went to agnostic before eventually hitting atheist. And I was like, I'm agnostic. I remember as a child, and she was just like, well, you have to believe in something. Like you can't just be unsure and not pick like pretty much what she was saying. And I think she begrudgingly accepts my point of view now, but she still believes in like in the God, the devil, the Bible, and all that. But it's just funny because then I also like would get very snippy and sarcastic, and I'd be very like too clever for my own good, and very just always trying to argue against her logic and undermine, to the point where as a parent she'd have to break out the classic because I said so here and there. And she's like, I know you, like, whether it makes sense or not, it's what I said and I'm your mother, so this is what we got to do right now. But I'm sure there are moments beneath all the frustration where she's like, this kid's being a smartass right now, but damn it if I'm not proud of it. But
she's never allowed him to feel that. So she doesn't allow him to kind of like separate himself from her. It is a very Lestat trait in him as well, which is this kind of like love bombing, demanding your full attention all the time and not giving you space to be able to go like, I think that's a really toxic person that I shouldn't be hanging out with.
Assad, I want to, first of all, welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. He's doing the 12-step.
I think she did it a bit better right there. Assad. Did she say no? She said Assad again. Assad. Well, she said it half right. Assad. 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 No, Assad. Assad.
It's a really toxic person that I don't.
I think she said
shouldn't be
Assad though
hanging out
again.
with. Yeah.
Assad.
Assad, I want to, first of all, welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, she said again.
He's doing the 12
Assad.
steps, right?
So she is saying it improperly.
Yes, okay.
The
We're going
12
to definitely
steps.
get into that. But I'm wondering, from your perspective, it feels like Armand frequently presents himself as the victim in so many scenarios. Do you think that he really believes that?
I think to an
Does he
extent.
believe that he's a victim? I mean, well, I think season 2 kind of established that he never likes to take full responsibility of anything, and he kind of rolls with the punches of scenarios, unfortunate scenarios that he's created, but he thinks that he's just fallen into these scenarios, but he could have helped himself. So yeah.
Oh no, how could this possibly have happened? It's like, What's that Eric Andre bit where it's like, bang, it's like, who shot Hannibal?
He's always in a perpetual state of victimhood.
Of course, we also...
And it's crazy. It's funny because, like, in a lot of respects, especially once we learn his backstory, he has been a victim in the past in terms of being literally, like, hunted, sold, abused, rented out, or like borrowed, basically. Like, he has been through a gauntlet of trauma himself. And now... But then again, all these characters, I suppose I'm just kind of leading to the overarching theme of, like, you become, you're a product of your circumstances and environment and your own trauma. And so the trauma we experience, we often then, whether we like to admit it or not, or whether we even realize it or not, we are kind of like perpetuating these cycles of trauma. As I read in one of the previous comments of the whole traumas of abuse between, like, Gabriella, Lestat, Louis, Claudia, etc., etc. Although Claudia was trying to, like, break the cycle, and she kind of got the closest out of all of them, especially like we talked about before in that comment with the birth, the metaphorical birth of Madeline.
In this episode, really get to meet Regina. So, what's going on here? What is Louis doing? What's happening?
What do you think Louis is
doing?
doing?
Can you tell us, either of you?
I don't know what he's doing. He's desperate. He's really desperate.
Oh, just the character.
The killing of Bruce didn't do it. It didn't get the thing.
Trying to fill that
hole.
hole.
Sits there all the time. So he found the next best thing, but maybe there's more to that, you know, that we can't talk about yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Regina is
foreshadowing.
Excited by a challenge.
Really?
Yeah, I think she finds a fascination in Louis as well. She wants to see how far she can go herself.
You think so? Excited and challenged, but also is like, hey, you're going to give me $500,000 to do this. I think part of what's enticing her is this is like an opportunity for a life-changing amount of money. I don't disagree with the original, like, because at first she is interested. She's like, hey, you're watching me like Netflix. You're sticking around here. You keep showing up. What's up? And then he kind of, like, she clocks him and reads him before he even has a chance to fully confess, because she's like, oh, I remind you of somebody, do I? Like, what, your sister or something like that? And then he brings up the book, and then she, presumably, she reads the book, and then he shows up, and she's like, that's kind of fucked up, dude. I need you to piss off. This is what you want me to be, your surrogate. Like, at first she's like taken aback by it. It's a lot to take in and process. But then she sees he's still watching her from outside the diner, and she's like, all right, come on in. All right, I've thought about it. But, like, I didn't get the read from her that she was, like, challenged or intrigued in that scene. I got the read that she's like, this is kind of weird, but okay, I've processed my revelation right now. Okay, well, you're gonna pay me this amount of money, and let's try this out. Let's try this out then. Like, almost like more caution than anything. But I'm not gonna speak on behalf of Delaney here, because it's her character, and she's the one she's the actress portraying Regina, not me. So I'm not gonna, like, tell her she's wrong or disagree with her take on the character, because it's her character.
But yeah, I think she's enjoying meeting him, learning a bit about him.
Yeah,
the way that
at
you
first
are shifting into this character is really fascinating to watch, because as an audience member, I'm still second guessing myself every second. I'm like, is it Claudia? Is it? Could it be? So what can you tell me about the...
What do you mean, is it how could it be, how could it possibly be Claudia? And if it were, even if it were Claudia, what, does she have amnesia? Like, it's not like it's my headcanon is, I'm firmly in the camp of this woman, because if he's before she even started putting on the accent, right, he was hearing her speak in both Regina's actual accent, but also Claudia's accent. And we know that the way, you know, was it raining, Louis? The way that Louis chooses to see or remember something sometimes isn't always how it actually is. It's very Mr. Robot coded in that. So I believe or at the very least, I don't know if I'll confirm it or not, but my headcanon is that Regina looks kind of like Claudia, but Louis is seeing Claudia. He's seeing Delaney. I feel like whether they'll do this or not, I don't know, but I feel like there would be a a scene maybe where he acknowledges that he's burying his head in the sand and engaging in some unhealthy patterns of behavior, and maybe he'll finally stop seeing Claudia and he'll actually see what Regina looks like, which I'm sure could be an actress who is similar but not the exact spitting image, not the same, you know. So I don't think Regina is the exact replica of Claudia in the flesh. I don't think it actually is Claudia. I think it's just what Louis is seeing in his mind. Personally, that's my belief.
The way that you approached Regina, like how did you handle this?
Well, I think Regina was kind of, she's a breath of fresh air. It's like so much fun playing her. I was really, the whole time I think I was experimenting with Jacob and Sam and how the levels that of like meeting for the first time, it's all very appealing.
Oh, what? No. Oops. What are you talking about? Well, I'm glad they censored it. Dude, Eric's not even here yet. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Ruh-roh.
Rewind. She's a waitress.
What do you hope Delaney said here? Send your best spoilers. She said meeting blank for the first time. So Regina meeting Lestat for the first time? Meeting Lemuel? Or are you trying to say that you as an actress are meeting Akasha for the first time? I don't know. Interesting. What do you think she said there? That's my speculation. None of you say it, what your speculation is, because especially if you have book context, you're like, well, I know who she's gonna meet. Like, oh no.
All new episodes of The Vampire Lestat every Sunday, only on AMC and AMC.
I'm glad they bleeped out the spoilers, though. I'm so appreciative of
What
that.
was the question again?
For you, like what's so as you're approaching this character,
okay.
because like there are similar energies to Claudia. Like you've done an amazing job of kind of keeping me guessing
Spitfire.
as an audience member.
I think, yeah, they do have a lot of
Are audience members really guessing if this actually is, like, people aren't thinking this actually is Claudia, right? Like, it couldn't be. She burned to ash. Like, what are you talking? Like, I don't. Or maybe she's like a ghost. No, she can't be a ghost because she's interacting with people. This isn't like a Sixth Sense thing either. Like, she's interacting with people in the environment.
similarities, but they're also like polar opposites. I think Regina is actually more headstrong than Claudia, and she thinks she can take on a challenge and stuff.
Or she can also like keep growing and developing too. She's not locked into a certain age.
And I think the whole of Claudia is very internal. Like, for me, the way I see it is...
What if Regina was like a chain-smoking waitress that actually doesn't... like, she looks like Claudia a little bit, but she's like, all right, buddy, what do you want? All right, well, I got you this... the chef is pushing the meatloaf tonight and the chicken parmesan tomorrow night. You keep coming around here, Louis, Mr. Thomas Pitt over here. Yeah, why don't you beat it, bozo? Like, what? It actually is nothing like it.
She computes it and then reacts, whereas Regina's like, what can I say really quickly, fast, to get the result I want?
Assad, you get like a real verbal beating from Lestat in this episode.
And
so
Daniel.
maybe we can talk about that scine.
I didn't really hear much of what he said.
It's
difficult to...
Yeah. I didn't really hear much of what he said. I was kind of taken in by his endowment.
Difficult to concentrate on what Lestat was saying.
Good Lord.
I don't know why. All I know is that he looked good in red.
Thank you.
Well, tell me a little bit about
Lord.
that scene.
Sure.
Was that?
Well,
was that
I was rock
It's funny 'cause,
hard.
like, I remember rating it and be like, what the how is this gonna work? I think like
It
it wasn't
worked.
very long, like maybe a week, maybe 3 days beforehand. They're like, we're just gonna give you a rundown, Sam, of how the blood shower is gonna work. And
Yeah,
I was
let's
like,
talk about the
okay.
blood shower.
So they showed me the blood shower and with a dummy, like there's a dummy in the shower. And they showed it to me, and it's like,
Oh no! Oh
like,
no!
and I was like, oh my god.
It has to be a bit
You know, like,
more.
there's dialogue in this scene and there's stuff like that, and like how am I going to
The
like
water
be
pressure.
kind of like raunchy in the shower? And I'm literally standing under like a waterfall of like cascading blood, and so thank God they like reduced the amount, so it just came from the center, so that at least I could like sort of do like a rock around and get the lines out, because
Like a blood play heated rivalry type of deal.
and then actually, it was kind of fun because it's like a satisfying scene to do with Armand, because I think Lestat and Armand have like this kind of funny sort of dynamic, which I think was a great way of sort of like exploring it. And Lestat.
Yeah, I've definitely been in situations where it's like not fella on fella, but there's been maybe a gal or two in my life in the past who the dynamic that, again, it's why I can at least empathize with Armand to an extent. I've talked about bottom energies and all that, and look, we all enjoy what we enjoy in life, and I like confident, strong. What's the Spike Spiegel quote, Cowboy Bebop, where it's like, I like a woman that can just kick my ass. Like, but yeah, there've been, I get it, like in the moment, like trying to have and even in that specific circumstance, trying to have a serious conversation, and then I have some like temptress, some siren over here that knows exactly what she's doing, and then she's just like, oh yeah, you want to have a talk right now? And I'm just like, yes, I want to talk. And it's like, doesn't quite work out that way. So yeah, been there.
What he can do to get Armand to push his buttons, and and I just love that line. You are a cloud, Armand.
Yeah, that one really lands.
Beige pillow and clouds.
Yeah.
Beige pillow.
Mark, what's
be whoever you want to be, but on the other side of the moon, or kill yourself.
What's the reaction when you see blood shower in a script? Are you like, absolutely A+, go ahege?
Absolutely.
Great.
I thought I'd never seen such a thing. I said, we're really going to do that?
Yeah.
That's not an Anne Rice, is it?
No.
No. Yeah, Anne Rice didn't quite write that in. Mark is just like the chill uncle or grandpa, like the grandfather, who's just like, he's like the liberal progressive one, where it's like, look, I don't quite understand all these newfangled things that you queers are doing out there, but I love it. I'm here for it. Like he's on board with it. He goes to Pride and he's like, I'm glad everybody's having a good time out there. Blood shower. I don't even know her. Like, but good times.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, so it's already come up a little bit. Obviously, the ship that the fans have been, I feel so old saying that the fans have been waiting for is, of course,
Daniel and Armand.
Minion. It's you, it's Armand, and it's Daniel. So I wanted to...
Right, which I've been speculating for a while. So now I guess this is the potential spoiler talk, maybe. I'm going to go ahead and just watch it because nobody has told me the specifics of what it is. I just know that, like, there's something about Daniel and Armand. I keep joking that it's like, wow, like wow, like that's the vibes that I get. And the episode, Armand is like, it was love, but not for Louis, and then looks right at Daniel, and Daniel's like, go, like anime style. His with Armand and his ooh Japanime eyes, which is still one of my favorite lines in the series. But also, even in the After the Dark, what does Eric Bogosian say when he's like, oh yeah, it's like, well, Armand loves Daniel in his own way, and I'm just curious about like how. And obviously they have a bond because they're now creator and fledgling. So, and they've already spoiled. No, they censored Delaney's spoilers, so I'm not too concerned.
Talk about your bond. I want to talk about the moments you have where everyone kind of disappears around you. But to do that, we have to bring in Daniel Malloy himself, Eric Bogosian. Welcome.
Oh, remotely?
Hi, Eric.
Damn.
Hey, everybody.
Busy with this book tour?
Sexy beer.
Nah.
When you knew that that's where this season was going, that we were going to get this whole piece of Armand and Daniel's backstory, what was your reaction to finding out that the show was going there?
You know, the show itself has always been a process of discovery for me. I usually don't know what's going to happen until I get to the next episode and I get a script and it's like, oh, that's who Rashid is. I don't know these things until they happen. So anything that Daniel is being surprised by, I'm being surprised by as well. And
fair enough.
Because this show is a giant kaleidoscopic puzzle, when it all gets put together, then it starts developing all these other energies.
Agreed.
That I learned from it all.
Agreed, because I can surmise and figure out certain elements of the plot, but a lot of it, like I ranted about in my reaction to episode 4, is still inherently a mystery, and especially because I'm not a book reader. So I love that I'm taking on a journey, an odyssey of recollection, if you will. But I like how I'm taking on a journey where I can I have some information, little bits and pieces of like who this person could be or what this relationship might be or where things are going to go because what's being hinted at. But as someone who hasn't read the books and as someone who I'm just at the mercy of a show with excellent writers on it, on this journey where I'm still frequently surprised, and there's still twists and turns and, you know, revelations that may or may not be obvious to a book reader. But that's part of the I love it when I can find a show that I can't predict what's going to happen next. Like, it's always fun to get the tinfoil hat on and to theorize, and you know, it's fun to be proven right and say, oh, I called this, or oh, well, I saw that coming, or oh man, I figured out this mystery. But arguably it's even more fun to be in a world so full of predictable storylines and mediocrity and just all these this like this slop that's being put out there into the wide world of pop culture, and shows on Netflix where they're done in such a way where what's happening is spelled out so that if you're on your phone, you're not, you know, you can still follow along while doom scrolling or whatever. In a world of all of this, there's still a show where even if I'm paying attention and I'm locked the fuck in, I'm still surprised and shocked, and I'm still taken down this rabbit hole, this journey of like, holy, like what's gonna happen next? Like, that's what's going on? And still, like, I love being surprised. I really do. And so that's why it's I get like so much enjoyment from that, from like these genuinely well done, well told stories. So I feel like Daniel, or Eric rather, in that regard.
Called Anne Rice. And Anne Rice is like the queen of imagination.
The
but
queen
if
of
she's
the
the
damned,
queen of
if you
imagination,
will.
Rollin is the king of imagination. And when the two
Aw.
things collide, who knows what's going to go on?
Yeah, like you might get like a this is hypothetical, but you might get like a blood shower or something like that. Again, purely hypothetical, but also you get I just like to think that like Roland's he's clearly bending over to see the screen, but I like the idea that Roland is just sitting there sweating through his sweater and just nervous as all hell, being like, I appreciate the kind words, Eric, but please be careful what you say. Please be careful what you say. Just like really worried that Eric's gonna let slip something else.
Of seeing your relationship this season and all the twists and turns that it's taking. What can you kind of tell us about where Armand is with Daniel at this point?
It's tricky because
Assad.
My mum, everyone I know here pronounces it Assad.
Assad.
So
Assad.
I love her outfit, by the way. I'm not normally, I wouldn't go for that color, me personally, in normal circumstances, but it works on her. I love the coordination of like the blazer with the blazer, the what do you call that? Eyeliner, I don't know, makeup, but the green on the eyes, and then the cherries, but you have the pop of red in the cherries, the red background, but also the what is it, a scarf, an ascot or something, a little bit of red in there too. I don't know what the rest of it looks like, maybe some red shoes or something like that, but a little random note, but I like the effort put into the outfit, like the outfit and the coordination. Also, does she also have, what are the odds? Does she also have pointed canines? No fucking shot. That, like, are you telling me that, are we both like, well, I can neither confirm nor deny, but like, are we both accused of being vampires, I wonder?
My mum, everyone I know here pronounces it Assad.
Assad. It's almost, he almost says it's like he's saying Assad, but like it's almost as if he's about to say Assad, but not quite there. Assad.
So
Assad.
Gonna get there? I don't know. Assad. Jesus, I'll get there someday.
With Armand, you never truly know, but I feel
Correct.
with him, with every speech that Armand gives, there's always, it's, you know, when someone tells a lie through telling truths,
Yeah.
you know, to telling lots of different kind of truths, skirts through a big lie. The little truth here is, I think, is the admission that the love that was distracting him in season 2 was for Malloy and not for Louis.
But that's so curious. That's the one part, I believe it, and everybody's saying as much. But I'm trying to I think I can theorize how this love, not in the tradition, maybe not even a traditional romantic sense, but this love, I can speculate how it might have, like how it originated, but I can't confirm I'm just so curious. I'm just trying to, like, it's not that I don't acknowledge it or that I couldn't see it. Like I believe it, but I'm just trying to, the pipeline, the A to B is just, for some reason, it's just, my mind is like, okay, but like, how? Why? Is it like trauma bond? Is it the fascination? Was it born out of jealousy at first? Is it a reluctant respect? Like that's the only part that I'm just struggling to try to kind of like get to.
I've had such a good time this year with Assad. It's nice chemistry.
He even says it wrong, dude. Does anybody get his goddamn name right? With us, like I mean, Eric is a bit older, so maybe that's just I don't know, but like, it's just crazy. Well, it just goes to show how good of a guy that Assad is, because he's willing to like, he's like, oh yeah, people say my name differently and it's chill, and I'm okay with either pronunciation, quite frankly. Like, some people, my name, right? Some people pronounce my name and they say Austin. Other people will say asshole. And either way, it's still like, either one's fine. Like, I'll take either way. There's technically a proper way to say it. I think I usually say like the proper phonetic pronunciation is actually bastard. But I mean, Austin, asshole, it's all the same for me at the end of the day,
One thing about this show, a lot of great chemistry between whoever you get to work with. You get to have new discoveries, new fun. I do this to have fun. I like to pretend. And
as an actor, yeah.
But seriously, I don't know why other people do it, but this is why I do it. And you get in the saddle with some of these guys.
Eric's out there just having a gas, making the most of his silver fox years.
And you just don't know where it's going to go, because they're totally. They're like your partner. It's not like you show up and I know what this is going to be all about. You find out when you're doing the scenes.
Just a casual question, but is there possibly a worse sponsor than Armand?
Actually, I had this thought about
Bruce
about this season and the introduction of how we introduce Armand. And I just remember the end of last season when we were starting the press tour and stuff. Roland and I sat down and he's like, what's one thing that you'd like really want to do next season if we were to go? And I was like, I'd love to just like proper gremlin out, go crazy, go mental.
Proper gremlin.
And he like listened to it, and then we start getting the scripts. And then I read the end of episode 3 and it's Armand in AA, and I was like, you bastard. You went the complete opposite way.
Damn.
If you tell Roland something, he's going to go completely the opposite way.
Rip.
You also show up with an eye patch.
Looking
fairly sinister.
Yes.
Lots of time for him to go.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Okay.
Armand full
I have
gremlin
one more question
mode.
for you, Eric, which is that in the first episode of the show.
Yes. Why does he respond like that?
True.
Yes.
Lots of time for him to go gremlin.
Okay.
One more
I have
time.
one more question for you, Eric, which is that
Bit of a delay.
in the first episode of the show, we hear Daniel dies bad.
Yeah, I'm really worried about this. Oh, I'm really worried. I don't want Daniel to die, let alone die bad. He's my even with his faults. And even with the creature he's becoming as a vampire, I'm so concerned from my bright young reporter with a point of view. My baby boy. Not my Danny boy, my rum Sabrina Malloy.
That's a promise, I guess, that Roland has made to me.
Oh.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to it.
No, I don't want damn it. Well, it's kind of like Claudia, right? I mean, that's the whole thing, is that it's what Daniel's surmised during the interview at one point, because I'm thinking in the back of my head, watching the show for the first time, not knowing what happens, not knowing about the trial or anything, I'm like, Claudia's not around right now. You have her diary pages. You speak of her in the past tense. Either she left and did her own thing, or something bad happens. I wonder what it could be. And with Daniel, it's like, especially it's like, oh yeah, the short-lived life. I'm just like of this shallow vampire. I'm over here like, I don't want Daniel's life to turn into a damn tragedy. Like, oh, I'm so worried. And Roland's over here just devious as all hell. But man, it's one of those like the sinking feelings. It's like Chernobyl. Like, how's the show gonna go? It's like, damn well how it's a tragedy. Lots of people are gonna die. Like, but it's just an unfortunate outcome that I don't want to acknowledge. But I'm like, man, he dies bad. Like, no, please no.
But I can't tell you anything more than that. But it is something that we agree about.
Really?
I like dying bad. I've died really badly in things.
Yeah, Uncut Gems.
Back and watch Under Siege 2 to see how many times I get killed in that thing before I finally have my fingers cut off.
I'm sorry, Under Siege 2? How have I not heard of this movie? Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, 1995. A Steven Seagal joint? Oh no. 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh no. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. You know we have to. Low frame rate or not. Under Siege 2 has just had a spike in like Googling popularity. Under Siege 2, Eric Bogosian, what, death? Oh no. What is he, in a fight or something like that? I'm trying to find the chance favors a prepared mind. Oh, young Eric, look at that. I'm not finding any. Oh, I love that actor too. That's funny that I mean, it's unfortunate they roped him into this. Oh, the fingies. Hacker's fingers remain.
Well, I gotta get going. Won't be needing any of this anymore. Got everything I need right here. The Petrol Express will be here in less than a minute. Have a nice life. What's left of it?
You take one step and I'm dropping this grenade.
Okay. Then drop it.
Just throw it at him. Oh my god, and Steven Seagal coming in to save the day. Damn. Oh!
This is missed, sir.
As he just awkwardly drops to the side, and so all that remains are his. Oh no, he's still alive. Shit.
Shooting me won't do any good. ATAC can't get past my ghost satellites, and you can't get past my encrypted program.
You mean to tell me there's no way that I can shut that off?
No way.
I love that I have no context for anything that's happening in this scene right now. Well, there you go. Damn. Oh! Oh, is he gonna fall out and get hit by a train? He said, "I like to die bad." Oh no. Oh! What? Is he hanging on for dear life on the side? What the hell was that? The zoom in, boom, crashing a model train over here. What the hell was he? What was the little jaunty run that he had to the train car? I'm sure I can't show any of this on YouTube either, but we'll have the filter over, that's fine. Steven Seagal is such a fraud hack, but he is hilarious to watch, and just as he then like talk about going gremlin mode.
Hold that letter at the back of the train and keep this chopper right here, man.
Damn. Oh. Oh, bro survived. Eric, hang on tight, Eric. Please. Oh, it's gonna be one of those things where they make it up to the top and then the helicopter door goes down in his fingies. It's like, I think Hardcore Henry did that too. It's almost over. As he climbs up with him on his boot. Damn. Oh no. Very cute. He's like, ah, and then shuts the door and just dices all his fingers off. His fingers look like an open can of Vienna sausage. The way she was held hostage was dumb. Fun stuff. Oh, see, an audience that isn't American is more fond of this than the Americans. That was funny. What a deep cut. 1995's um Under Siege 2. Hell yeah, Eric, you get that bread. They all know about it.
I'm bad. I've died really badly in things. Go back and
Yeah.
watch Under Siege 2 to see how many times I get killed in that thing before I get my fingers cut off and fall into an abyss of fire.
Oh Lord.
Beautiful.
We promised Eric we would give him his best.
I like how in the little caption it said 1995, obviously.
His worst, best cinematic death.
No.
Wow. All right.
No.
That's something to live up to.
Don't-
Is it planned or it's
Don't
just...
kill my boy.
I think it's one of those things where we have promised ourselves and now we have to go do the work.
Likes the plan.
Why do I feel like in my headcanon, oh, great screenshot, little still. For some reason, my headcanon for what's going to happen to him is like Akasha's going to roll up and then just like eviscerate him somehow, or just, man, I don't want him to die. There's so many interesting things you can do with Vampire Malloy.
Things and not tell us what they are. That's the way planning goes in this outfit.
Better not be this
He
fucking
plans,
season.
we execute.
So when
Literally.
when we see, and Daniel references this early in the season, that sometimes everybody just kind of disappears, and you say it's happening for Armand too,
Yeah.
and he says it's not in his control. Is that true?
That is true.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, Armand says, "I don't know."
Yeah.
What is happening? He says, "I don't know." We don't know.
Well, he wouldn't know because he's never turned somebody. He's never had a fledgling. So even as a vampire who has heard stories, been around the block, and has a slew of vampire gifts and experience and like a certain strength and amount of prowess, he's never had a fledgling. So like he doesn't know how that experience feels. So what he's feeling and going through is pretty much going to be the same as what Daniel is experiencing in the show. They're both new to this.
This is unexplored vampiric territory, of which there's lots of unexplored territory, including there's a part where Louis and Lestat are hanging out together, and they've gone through.
Oh, so if I stick around for the post-credit scene, Eric will spoil even more. So I'm not gonna. So eventually, there's gonna be post-credits spoiler. Okay, I see. Oh, or is he still censored? Oh, jeez.
As we've
Roland's just like, stop, cut.
been discussing, we finally
Christ.
get a little amuse-bouche of the Devil's Minion in this episode. This is something fans have been waiting for forever. We thought it would be a little bit fun to have you actually switch roles for a minute and do the scene where Armand is trying to make amends.
Well, that could be fun.
See what that elicits for us.
Sure.
Assad, of course, you will be playing Daniel Malloy.
Oh, no.
Eric, you will be playing Armand.
Oh,
Lizzie,
no.
Can I take
Mike,
your chair? Do you
please,
mind?
please.
That's all right. Thank you. I'd just
Keep
like
it.
to have a good eye line.
Right,
to
hello.
a fellow actor.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it is nice not being in the corner diner booth or on the arm of the chair. Delaney's like, she's the gremlin this episode. She's been asked like one question, maybe two, I guess, as she just kind of perches on the chair.
I have been enduring intense conversation with myself, and as part of this journey, I wish to read you something I've written from the deepest regions of my soul. Dear Daniel, of all things that walk the garden, it is you I have done the most harm to, and it is you I owe amends.
Wait. Stop.
Are you doing the steps?
Are you doing the steps?
The applicable ones, yes. I know this is 52 years.
I like how they're both still doing it kind of from like they're both approaching it with their respective acting styles, but
What group let you
late.
in? Hey?
When we first met in San Francisco,
No. Listen. I did this myself once. Let me try. Hey, son. Daddy here. Sorry about the no child support. And
Clip that, by the way, for any of you, any of the girlies out there, if you want daddy here.
general deadbeat vibe I've been giving off. Sorry for killing you on a private jet. I probably could have waited until you crossed the GW, but nope, your vampire birth certificate resides in Newark. Oh yeah, by the way, you're not gonna get any of my special vamp skills either, because my blood sucks. But maybe that's a positive.
It's interesting the read he's giving, because the one Daniel gives is out of like anger and frustration. The read that Assad is I'm never ever gonna get it right. Assad. The read that Assad is giving is more like just like still there's some like light mild like incredulity and a little bit of sarcasm in there, but it's more like a remorse, just like, oh, I'm sorry, but this is the kind of situation you put me in, and this is the rub.
I'm a friendless bottom twink sociopath. It was my job to put you out of your misery, but
with the ooh Japanime eyes.
If a bucket of Louisiana fried chicken walks into the room and says stop, well, what can I say?
Yeah.
A 500-year-old fanny.
A fanny. He talks like my friend Jay talks, which if you've seen my most recent well, actually no, he wouldn't be in that one. There's a vlog I'm editing right now. I'll be posting up where we go to Point Pleasant, West Virginia to visit the Mothman Museum, and my friend Jay, who also has a British accent, he's in that vlog, and you'll see like the way he talks is very much like, oh yeah, so like it's just he's very quick biting and sarcastic and hilarious, quite frankly, but he speaks very similar to how Assad is speaking right now.
Oops. Pick up the tab, would you?
A fanny.
So that's the way you think I should have done it, so I sound like one of the Beatles? Is that the idea? I know. You're always taking my inventory and trying to better me. So competitive on this set.
Oh, man.
That was amazing.
Well, also because it's Daniel pretending to be Armand, and now it's Armand pretending to be Daniel to be friendly.
Well, that was incredible. Hopefully cathartic, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it was a good experience.
Lynchian.
Lynchian.
It was
kind of, yeah.
Layers upon layers.
Oh,
layers
Lord.
and layers. Thank you so much for joining us, Eric.
Hey, Eric, I have an actual idea for a new role for you. You can go into this show. Have you heard of it's an interview with a vampire, Eric? You can go in there and you can be an investigative reporter journalist who has made a mess of his life with his wife and his children. You can go and be a vampire, Eric. It'll be quite interesting. That's my terrible David Lynch impression.
We can let you go. We appreciate it.
Namaste.
Amazing job this season. Thank you so much.
Hit him with a namaste.
And then, Mark and Rollin,
Peace be with you.
Get on out of here.
After you, sir, please.
I have some
Shaka
questions
dude.
for the vampires. Vampires alone.
Oh, okay. Which Anne Rice vampire are you? Which vampire am I? Ooh, I'm more curious to see which vampire you guys think I am. Someone's like, "Oh, there's a character coming up you haven't even seen yet." I relate the most to Daniel Malloy. But also I remember in season 2, somebody said that out of all the powers of a vampire that I would most likely like. Well, people already think I am one. And people said you'd be a good mimic because I have this like vocal for my vocal stems. I'm never mocking anybody, but like whenever somebody says something in a certain, that's how San Francisco started, because this smarmy queen was over here in a Dubai penthouse being like, "Oh, Daniel, unworthy in Dubai, unworthy in San Francisco." Like though I said it out of order, but that's the whole thing. People have said that like my ability might be like mimicry, if anything. I don't know about the other powers, but I feel like I relate most to Daniel Malloy, even in like as a vampire perhaps. But I'm more curious. Out of all the vampires in, I guess, Anne Rice, or maybe that we've seen so far, which Anne Rice vampire do you think MovieMan is? I fear to see the results because maybe people will read me more than I'm willing to read myself, and people are like, "Oh, for as much as you don't like Armand, you sure act like it, like the little, the little gremlin, don't you?"
All of you to complete a Which Anne Rice vampire are you quiz. I took it as well.
Oh, can I take a
I have the
quiz?
results. Let's talk about them. Delaney, you got Louis.
Oh,
What do you make of that?
that's fitting,
get it.
right? Ironic.
But maybe I don't get it as much as I think. But it resonates.
These quizzes are also fairly obvious and arbitrary. The whole what Harry Potter house do you belong in? What character are you in the show? If you identify with certain traits or elements, the questions can be usually pretty leading in terms of, oh, if there was a turtle on its back, would you help it? You know, it's like, yes, no, I'd point and laugh, or I'd kill the turtle. And it's like, okay, well, gee, I want, like, you're like, oh, I'd probably point and laugh. I'm like, gee, I wonder if you're a Slytherin then.
I think I am a bit of Louis in, like, when I'm low, I'll put on a sad film just to feel lower for a bit.
Ooh, I do kind of do that though too. There are some back when I was more my depressive years, and I still do this. There's some films that I know that I'm gonna cry, and I'm like, hey, hey, babe, hey, to my partner, like, oh, you haven't seen this movie yet. Let's watch The Whale. Let's watch Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Let's watch Manchester by the Sea. You haven't seen this film yet. Let's watch it. I know I'm gonna be a mess. That's like whenever Everything Everywhere All at Once. Whenever I have me make a new friend and I'm like, you haven't seen this movie yet. This movie is, like, in my opinion, perfection in every frame. I adore this film. I'm like, but even though I know beat for beat what's gonna happen, I'm going to cry every time. Like, Taxes and Laundry, or I Choose to Be Right Here with You, or, you know, oh, I didn't make this bagel to see if I could destroy everything. I made this to see if I could destroy myself. Like, oh my God, there's some things that I do watch, but especially when I was already kind of feeling morose or sad, and then I think it's healthy and important to cry and have an occasional breakdown and have these cathartic moments. And so if I was feeling down, I would watch reactors, like watch through, like, you know, Telltale's The Walking Dead, or I would rewatch scenes of a show or a movie that I know are like really, really just like sad, painful, traumatic moments, and then I would just get caught up in it all again, and then just cry once again at just the sadness of it. So I 100% would do that. I still do it. I love it when art. I'm stealing this quote. Who I forget who originally said it, and I heard the quote first from Mythical Kitchen in an interview. But I think that what I want out of art in a lot of ways is, as the quote goes, paraphrasing a little bit, I want to be moved against my will, and it's very much like what happened in season 2 at the end of Interview with the Vampire in that season, when there's that reunion between Louis and Lestat, and against my will, especially when that line hits and it's like, did you hurt yourself? Like, what you heard, like, from me when I'm like, oh, like, visceral, like, I wasn't like that, like, I granted the couple of drinks that I had before then probably helped lower the inhibitions, but that was a genuine, in the moment, visceral reaction to being moved emotionally by this reunion and then the conversation that happened afterwards. But sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit there. But yeah, I love it. I love it when a film can make me feel the emotional spectrum, whether it's like happiness, joy, sadness, like even uncomfortable. It's why I love horror so much, is that I feel like, of all the stuff I've seen, I'm usually so desensitized to a lot of media and the horrors, like all, especially when it comes to horror. But horror is so often it's my favorite genre in media for sure. I love all the genres, but horror is my favorite because I find it's often the one that innovates the most and pushes the envelope the most. Not just in terms of how much gore can we put into this film, but it's like, if you can make me squirm in my seat, or feel uncomfortable, or feel a pit of dread in my stomach, or impending doom, or watch a tragedy unfold as I have no choice but to just hang on and watch this, you know, the tears flow, or I feel the emotions. That's what I'm looking to experience. I want to have these experiences of someone's story, this artistic story, this narrative. I want to feel things, and I want to be taken along for that ride. Let the tales seduce me. And that's all part of it, right? I want to be moved against my will. And that's often what, like, shows like this or other shows I've watched on my channel, often recommended by you folks, or movies that come out that I then recommend to people like that, just take me on these experiences and these wild rides of this visceral emotional gauntlet.
About like wallowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a Louis answer. I see. Okay. Assad, you got Lestat.
Oh, she said it right. Assad. She said it right that time. Instead of Assad, she said Assad, or she got a little bit closer there. Assad.
Just to feel lower for a bit.
About like wallowing.
Assad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a Louis answer. I see. Okay. Assad, you got Lestat.
I did. I got Lestat, but then I don't agree. I think I did it wrong because it's like too tiring to be Lestat, and like the whole description was too tiring.
I think you did it right.
Yeah, I think you did it right.
What do you all make of that? Is that accurate?
It's pretty tiring being Lestat. I agree, yeah.
I don't think I've got the energy.
I said out loud before Assad got his result, I was like, oh, it must be quite confronting if someone got Lestat. Like, you have to really think about yourself.
And then my result comes up. Did you get Lestat?
Yes.
Oh.
So now I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Well, now I have to know. I hope there's no spoilers, but what Interview with the Vampire character are you? Quiz. Oh, BuzzFeed. Is it BuzzFeed? All right, I'll fucking try it. All right. Who's the most important person in your life? All right, here's the thing. I feel like I haven't had a best friend in years, unfortunately. I'd love to have a best friend. I have very close friends, but I value relationships over family. So actually, wait, hang on. No, my partner. Well, I have a partner now. Most important person in my life. Well, right now, currently, it would be my partner. I mean, if I wasn't with somebody, I would say my best friend, but my partner. Imagine a wedding. Where do you envision yourself in the scene? Just in a wedding? Is it my wedding? Walking down the aisle? Oh, just in general, where do I envision myself? Walking down the aisle, at the altar, front row, as the officiant in the party, hiding in the curtains. If I'm at a wedding, if I'm going to a wedding, it's probably because I've been invited and I care about who's being wed. I wouldn't just be in the party in general. I have a habit of, I would probably gravitate towards the front row because I'd want a front row seat for who's getting married. I want to see the I almost said see the show. I'd stay in the front row. You're at a busy, understaffed cafe. Oh, understaffed cafe? Job application. All right, busy and understaffed. What am I ordering? A complex drink you saw on TikTok. Nah, I'm not about that life. A frappe, a basic iced coffee, a simple drip coffee. Okay, here's the thing. I'm more of an energy drink guy than a coffee guy. When I go to a coffee shop, I try to avoid franchises. You'll only ever see me in a franchise if I have no choice. But I go to, it would be an understaffed, busy cafe, I suppose. I like the mom and pop. I like the off-brand, like the more lesser-known coffee shops. And I'm always up for. I always order the. I'm more iced coffee than hot. I prefer iced coffee. Even in winter, I get iced coffee, and I like that. I'm also a freak. If I get a chance, I order a espresso tonic with some type of nice little flavoring in it. But I like gin and tonic, and I also found that I like a fresh espresso tonic because I'm a psychopath. But that being said, I will almost always order if there is a seasonal special beverage, like a seasonal craft iced coffee, like try our cinnamon toast iced coffee or whatever. I'll get that. So I would say if I go to a coffee shop, I'm not just getting a simple drip coffee. I'm getting that's not basic because I see like cream and maybe sugar in there, but I would get a basic iced coffee is what I would get. Which of these hobbies appeals to you the most? Bullet journaling, painting, writing poetry, video gaming, baking, or reading. I do love reading, but video gaming hands down is what I would go to the most. If you were on TikTok, hypothetically, if I was a content creator, hypothetically, if I was a content creator, what kind of What kind of content would I make? You know, I've always liked beauty. I always liked the Gwyrm, the get ready with me. You know, I always like to say, here's my drip, here's my fit. No, I mean, I would be commentary. I guess I would be doing commentary content. If I really, you know, gun to my head, rocking a hard place, what content am I making? What album do you find I don't know music. What album do you find the most relatable right now? The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Brat by Charlie XCX. Stick Season by Noah Kahan. Tortured Poets Department by T Swizzle or Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. Here's the thing. Out of all these people, the only one... the only two artists... Well, actually, no, I take it back. I went through a Beyonce phase when I was younger, and I remember listening to single... I remember when I was given a gift, I finally got an iPod Touch for Christmas, like years and years and years and years ago. I remember that I got the iPod Touch, and it had nothing on it, but I was about to fly back from my father's to my mother's because my dad was the one who bought me the iPod Touch, and I was like, hey, can I buy a couple songs so I have something to listen to? And I got Piano Man by Billy Joel and Single Ladies by Beyonce. I'm not exaggerating. Those two became like my like hyperfixation songs, like my stim tracks. And so for an hour and a half plane ride, I just went between Single Ladies and Piano Man on repeat for the entire plane ride. But out of all these artists, the only albums that I've listened to, or the only artists that I listened to in the last like 5 years, have been Chappell Roan and XCX. And not gonna lie, there's some fucking great tracks on Brat. gas. Like, I would do Brat by Charlie XCX. Briefly picture your ideal. Now, do I relate to the lyrics necessarily? No, but like I'm like, you know, gas. Like all, just the tracks are just like they're good tracks to listen to. Briefly picture your ideal future. What aspect stands out to you the most? Ooh. My looks, my career, my partner, my family, my freedom, my happiness. That's a tough one. My gut goes to either... Okay, I'm stuck between two right now. My career and my happiness. Because I really do put... When I think about my ideal future, I have my dreams. Like, my happiness is important because I've started prioritizing my happiness. That's what helped me get out of my depression, was like living life, experiencing it, and finding the happiness out of it and trying to find that. But a lot of my life revolves around the content that I make, and I have like dreams and aspirations of like, I want my career to be entertaining people, to be talking about and yapping about art like for the rest of my life, maybe even making art in some degree. And then, but that ultimately serves my happiness, my fulfillment. But I think so much about like my channel, my career, the numbers, what I can do with myself, what my partner and I can do. My career or my happiness? Only because it's tricky because they feed into each other. I want to say my career. Because there's times where, like, you know, ultimately my career serves my happiness, but I'm being honest with myself. I plan so much of my life around how can I make this into, should I make this into content? Can I make it into content? I got to schedule my days, so I can stream this day, I can go ahead and record this, I can go see this movie. Oftentimes, even if I'm tired or if I'm cranky or if I'm not feeling it, I still prioritize my career and the content that I make to stay on schedule. So I'm only going to say my career because I do think it feeds into my happiness overall, but there are times where in minute ways that are not bad for my like happiness or mental health, I prioritize my career because I know that it's going to require work and the grind and consistency. So I'd say career. Choose a mysterious goblet to sip from. I mean, I'm a borderline alcoholic, so boom. We're in a book club, and it's your turn to choose what we read next. What genre are you going for? Either sci-fi or horror. I love horror. I'm gonna go with a horror book, horror novel. Choose the picture that brings you the strongest sense of calm. I don't know what it is. Here's the ultimate irony of it. I'm a city boy. I love like the cities, the hustle and bustle. I love new I just love like I'm a metropolitan kind of guy. I love cities. That being said, out of all of these, the idea of being in a forest of tall trees with the river running through and taking a break at a cabin in the mountains. I got to travel. There's another vlog that I have from my Montana trip. A couple of my friends, my boys, they got married finally. But we went to Whitefish, Montana, and it was gorgeous and it was tranquil and it was so. Even though I was kind of sick when I went, it was like so calming and just beautiful. I couldn't live in nature and in the woods, but that brings me the most, I think, peace, I think. What are you the most nostalgic about? My unfulfilled childhood dreams. I'm living my dream right now. I'm working on it. When my kids or siblings were babies, at a home I can no longer return to. The person I used to be, the one who got away. Oh, fuck me dead. I mean, literally, if by changed, you mean died, or just like I outgrew them, or they outgrew me. My old friends before they changed. Oh, fuck. Yeah, my old friends before they changed, 100%. What is memory to me? A monster, a blessing, a fickle thing, a knife, a comfort, or a mental process. Memory. What is memory to me? Ooh. It's a fickle thing. My memories are a fickle, it's a mixed bag. It's a complicated ordeal. It's a fickle thing. And finally, if you were offered the chance to become a vampire in real life, would you take it? I had moments where I was like, I think if you'd asked me when I was in season 1 or 2, if you had asked me not even like a year or two ago, I might have said maybe. But with my current life the way that it is, I would probably say there's this, again, part of what has become, I think when I was depressed, I would have said yes. But now that I'm not, I realize that like I used to be very, very nihilistic. And I used to think life is pointless. We are a speck on a bit of dust on the gear of a cog in the machine of life, and our lives, like my life in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, nothing matters. But then I used to take it around to, oh well, no, sure, nothing matters, but that means we can do whatever we want within reason. Like now, life has so much more meaning to me now because it is finite. Because thinking about mortality to makes it special. The fact that me or you or any of us can even exist in this universe. Like the fact that I exist in the time that I do, that I am here, and I don't know how or why outside of what science we've been able to attribute to it, is miraculous. It's fucking crazy. It's bananas, bonkers, bodacious, bodiddly that I existed in the same. I was alive when David Lynch was alive. I get to see these movies. I experience these, the good, the bad, and the ugly in this historical timeline. I get to eat food and see these works of art and play video games. And I get to make content online and have a community that I talk with. I'm very lucky in that regard, of course. But like the fact that we get to live, period, and experience life. And some lives are easier than others, but through my personal experience and the lens that I now view things in, I think being an eternal vampire would be hellish. I think that it would be, it's appealing if I was more depressed or in a more vulnerable state, but currently, right now, I would probably say no, because I think part of what makes life so special is that it isn't forever and that it's going to end, and we have to live every day like it's our last to some extent or another, but we have to try to enjoy it and like do what we can with it. I would say no. Hey, let's fucking go. I had a feeling when I answered the one question as like career, and I'm like, well, that's an answer Daniel Malloy would give. Like Daniel, you have an insatiable curiosity that overrides your survival instincts. And the only thing you hate more than not knowing is not knowing why. Yes and no. I do try to find the answers to it. Even though I accept there's mystery in life, I do have to know. When I can, sometimes I will keep digging. Your tendency to have a one-track mind, hyperfixate, causes you to distance yourself from your loved ones without realizing it. Zoinks. You're good at getting people to open up to you, whether I like to or not. People will just open up to me sometimes. But you struggle with processing your own experiences and no, don't say that! My therapist told me that! Don't say that shit! I went to therapy for the better part of a year, and I would always, when we sat down, she was invaluable for helping me, giving me tools for getting out of my funk and my depression. But I would say, like, I would always, the thing that she helped me realize was that I knew how to identify my emotions. I knew what emotions I was experiencing, but she would be like, yeah, but do you let yourself, like, feel them? Like, do you then just sit with them and then ask yourself why you're feeling that way and process them? And I'd be like, well, I know what I'm feeling, I just don't want to feel that way. Or I would just like, I didn't think that I deserved to feel any other way, really. I just didn't think I was a good person. And, but yeah, that's funny. You struggle with processing your own emotions. However, you're learning how to slow down and sit with your own thoughts as you unravel the greatest mystery of all, yourself. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he's my favorite. I told you, I didn't know what this would get me overall, but, yeah, that's the whole thing, is that, like, yeah, like, and as I like him so much, not only because I think he's a good character, but I related to him, like, empathically in a lot of different ways. So, oh, the irony, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. What does that mean?
And you got...
I got Louis.
You got Louis.
Go figure.
And I was like...
Perfect for the role.
No, hang on, no. And then immediately, like, I read a bit of... I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, what is it? What was it about it that you were like, yeah, okay, that's kind of right?
It's just like a big old contradiction and kind of moody, but also kind of like... He's very creative.
Yes.
You know?
Louis, creative.
I beg your pardon. No, he's not
business-minded.
Yeah, but that's creative. He's also he's a creative storyteller.
Oh, got him there.
Fair enough.
I get flashes of you talking about Louis in season 1, actually, and then finding bits of yourself in him when you... Maybe season 1 Louis is like you know?
He's not an artist, but I think he's creative.
And last but not least, Sam, I heard you broke the quiz.
Huh?
I had an inconclusive result.
No.
How? Like, what is that?
Never gave me an answer, just stayed on calculating the whole time.
I think that's more Lestat than getting Lestat.
Or it could have just been, like, bad internet connection, but, you know, that's just me as Daniel Malloy trying to crack the case.
Like, I think if you manage to get Lestat, you've done the quiz right.
Or maybe
the real Lestat would the quiz.
Oh.
Who does everyone think that Sam would get? Who do you think that Sam would get, Lizzie?
You think I would get Lestat?
I think you are.
I don't know. You all spend months and months with him on a set. You tell me who he should get.
You're so Claudia.
Oh,
you definitely
you're so
would get
Claudia. Interesting.
Why?
Lovable, but also like there's something murderous.
Inner rage.
Inner rage.
Quiet inner rage.
Oh, I could see it. I could see it.
I wish I could get Lestat, but I definitely am way too shy for Lestat to really have Lestat in me. I get to live that out, you know, for my job.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to get some superlatives from each of you.
Whoa. Vampire superlatives. Sure.
Who is the season's biggest heartbreaker?
For Claudia.
Yes. Yeah, good answer.
Ooh. Who's the most dangerous vampire this season?
Oh, that's a spoiler, though.
What is it, Akasha?
Yeah, it's a spoiler, yeah.
It's a spoiler. To this
But we know what's coming. Up to this point, I would say the most dangerous is... My gut says Armand. I feel like Armand is dangerous, not because of his direct actions, but more like what he is culpable or responsible or condoning oftentimes. Well, I don't know. I lean towards him, but I mean, Louis went through and literally like massacred an entire coven. And Lestat, you know, he still hunts and goes out there into the wild and
Up to this point, Armand.
This season, Armand. Yeah.
Armand,
Yikes.
amazing. Okay.
Most dangerous, yeah.
Who's most likely
The
to have
gremlin
an elevator
conniving.
foursome?
Claudia.
Does it, yeah.
Great. Anytime. All right. Who's actually
Daniel's most likely, honestly.
They're the most morally questionable this season?
Louis.
Guess so. Yeah.
Well, without hesitation.
It's morally
It's so
questionable.
weird.
Yeah.
There's so much weirdness.
Yeah.
You can recognize it at least.
Regardless of if he's in.
I mean, Lestat sleeping with his mother, and that's also equally morally questionable. But that's not really intentional.
Yeah, he's being, This is a fun game.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But it's not questionable. It's kind of. It's obvious.
It's not a question.
Are we having a debate?
Runner up.
Though.
No,
Do you
I
feel
agree.
like? Oh, you do agree.
I agree. I was going to say Gabriella, but...
Gabriella's.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I would
morally
actually say Gabriella is the
questionable.
most
Dangerous,
vampire
yeah.
this season,
Okay.
rather than
Yeah.
Armand. But
That's a good point.
I feel
That's a
like I
good
got
point. Yeah.
outvoted, so I wanted to stay
Recount.
quiet.
Nice.
But now we're bringing up Gabriella. I think she's the one with the agenda.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Gabriella has an agenda? No, surely not.
Got to vote for 2 votes for Gabriella. Who's this season's cutest couple? Oh.
Cutest couple? Daniel and Armand.
Oh.
Oh, that's the Devil's Minion.
I think, yeah.
Damn.
I'm telling you, I have my head canon. There's a love there. Now, whether it's a a romantic one or not, I don't know. But I told you that's like my crazy my most bonkers theory is just having them going at it. Sure, why not?
And
We'll
finally,
see.
who is thriving this season?
Who's thriving this season? The band? I don't know, like Salamander. I think
That's it, close.
Salamander's
I thought that'd
thriving.
be
Yeah.
Check stat.
Who is thriving this season?
I'd say Daniel Malloy's.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
kind
would
of.
say he is the most thriving character.
He's
out
still
of the lot if
struggling,
anyone has
though.
to thrive. But, I mean, I think when I'm thinking of thriving, I think of like the tan of whatever you want, sweetheart.
Yeah, like Salamander.
He's got a special someone in his life. He's kind of finding new powers. He's kind of, wearing leather jackets and kind of killing people in dark alleyways. And I think he's kind of living his best life.
I think that about wraps it up for episode 4. Thank you so much for joining me, Delaney, Sam, Jacob, Assad. Can't wait to get into episode 5.
So she said it correctly that time. Assad.
So
And she said Jacob's name too.
make sure you come back next time to the Vampire Lestat After Dark. We're here after every episode. See you then.
Assad.
Thank you.
Now, I would watch the end credits here, and I see spoilers over his mouth, so I'm sure they censor it. But I don't want to risk anything, so I'm gonna. I mean, if it is censored, I might go back and watch it, but I'll leave it at that. Okay, well there we go. We've seen the first 4 episodes. We've seen all 4 episodes of After Dark. It's interesting though. Whoever is responsible for putting the thumbnails on these episodes is not doing their job well because. Jacob is not wearing that sweater in episode 4. He wears it in episode 3. And have I seen Jacob in that button up right there? Like there's like they're just kind of putting him out of order. It's kind of very arbitrary, but I don't know who's in charge of doing like the uploads and like queuing it all up, but like someone like the fact that we didn't get after the episode in episode 4 and then different thumbnails for different episodes, like it's little things, but it's like someone not doing their job properly. Just like it just feels so like, oh, we got it up there. Oh, we forgot to put an image up there. Sure, this is only the biggest release right now, the most popular show on AMC Plus, but whatever, we'll just like get it done. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if I missed anything, let me know. If you guys have any comments, let me know. But I also love the games and the trivia and the call and response because then not only do I get to answer it, but then it's always fun when people answer it about me and give me their diagnoses and all that. But still loving it, having a good time. Yeah, we are now unfortunately, technically, a little bit over halfway through Season 3 of the show formerly known as Interview avec le Vampire. So what more is there to say? Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching these on Patreon, thank you so much for the additional layer of love and support. Always means the absolute world to me. If you've thought about joining but have not done so already, now is always a good time. You will get early access to these episodes days in advance with this particular series, days in advance before they hit YouTube. Not to mention they will be full, uncut, uncensored reactions, HD video accompaniment, plus access to my entire content backlog and library, which includes my reaction, of course, to the first 2 seasons of Interview with the Vampire, all other series that I've done, Patreon exclusive shows, couples commentary, and on the higher tier, access to my live movie watch parties, which become movie commentary VODs afterwards. But of course, if you are just on YouTube, it's still more than enough. I appreciate it. All I ask is you like the video, comment down below for the almighty algorithm engagement gods, and I want you to love me enough to subscribe to me. Please do, if it behooves you. Thank you again. I think we're about to hit 10.5K. Crazy, but thank you. And yeah, stay tuned for the next episode of Vampire Lestat After Dark. Have a good day. Have a good night. This has been your bright young reactor with a point of view. Stay tuned for the rest of it. Take care. Goodbye, travelers.